Yes, Chelsea are in advanced talks to sign João Felix on loan from Atletico Madrid. Of course, we've been talking about the fact that Manchester United and Arsenal were also interested in signing him, but neither of those clubs were prepared to pay the €11 million loan fee. And I think Chelsea are. Also, you've got to factor in his wages. He earns, I think, more than about £250,000 a week, so Chelsea would have to cover his wages as well. Interestingly, he has fallen out with the manager at Atletico, Diego Simeone, but he did play yesterday. He started the game against Barcelona. They lost that game 1-0. Now, as far as Chelsea are concerned, I know they've been criticised because they've been spending so much money in the transfer market. Some people have been saying, look, they basically sign anyone who comes along. But they do have a strategy this month. What they want to sign now is a wide player. I think that will be João Felix. Ideally, they would like a right back as well and a midfield player. But I think they're getting very, very close to agreeing a deal to sign João Felix on loan.
I think this deal will probably work for both parties as well, because Chelsea will probably look to the summer where they can reassess and see what other options are out there for their squad. But for Atletico Madrid as well, they paid, close to £120 million for João Felix. Now, if they were to go an option price now or sell him now, they wouldn't get anywhere near that money. It's likely they're not going to get anywhere near that money when they do eventually sell him. But if he does go to Chelsea, performs really well for 6 months, he goes back to Atletico Madrid with 3 years left on his contract, and maybe his market value being slightly higher than it possibly is just now. And that means that they can sell him for a higher price come the summer. Carve mentioned that their Arsenal wanted to sign him as well. Manchester United were looking at him, but not at the terms being quoted by Atletico Madrid. They simply were not on the agenda as far as João Felix was concerned. If the price was around €11 million for the loan fee alone, and then add the wages on, you're looking at, close to £20 million for a 6-month loan deal. So as far as Arsenal and United were concerned, it was a no-goer at those prices.
OK, but Chelsea, very close. Now, Chelsea also want to strengthen the midfield. We've spoken a lot about him. What's the latest on Enzo Fernandez?
Well, I think it's bad news as far as Chelsea supporters are concerned, because it looks like Enzo Fernandez has kissed and made up with Benfica. Of course, he was dropped from their squad for their last game because he went AWOL. He went to Argentina without permission for a New Year's Eve party. But he's back training with Benfica as well. And according to their manager, his head is now right and he's ready to play for Benfica. I think they've got a cup game tomorrow night. And they are basically being let it known, Benfica, that he can only leave for his release clause, €120 million. Of course, everybody knows Chelsea are interested, but Chelsea are not willing to trigger that release clause at that price. For the time being, the player is staying at Benfica.
I want to talk Graham Potter. Feels like the heat is on Graham Potter. Pep Guardiola over the weekend said he needs time. Is he going to get time?
I think he will get time. He will get time because I think the Chelsea co-owners still believe in him and they still back him. But I would have to say that if Roman Abramovich was still the owner of Chelsea Football Club, I'm not sure how much time Graham Potter would get. The situation is very, very serious. The results cannot carry on the way they are going at the moment, because it's all well and good me sitting here and saying, yes, the owners back the manager. But if Chelsea keep losing, if they keep putting in bad performances, then how long is that faith in Graham Potter going to last? But for the time being, the information we're getting is that they still support their manager.
Yeah, I think it's interesting with the Graham Potter situation, though, because if you go back to the summer, Chelsea spent £270 million on new players. Thomas Tuchel was in charge. A week after the transfer window closes, they sack Thomas Tuchel and they bring in Graham Potter. Now, I just wonder how many of the players that were signed in the summer would have been signed had Graham Potter been in charge of Chelsea at the start of the summer. Now, what they have done, Chelsea, they've made the point that Graham Potter is their man. They want Graham Potter to lead them forward. He has built his reputation at Brighton by being a manager who builds organically. He buys players that are quite cheap and they sell them on at a huge profit. Of course, that's not going to be the case at Chelsea because they want the finished article and they want results immediately. But because that was the selling point initially, that he can build a squad, that's the reason why Carve's absolutely right, that he should and probably will be given that time to turn things around at Chelsea, because he hasn't even had a transfer window yet. He's been working with the squad that was put onto him effectively. So now January's arrived, this is his first window, and I'm sure he'll be given the time in the summer as well to really build what he wants Graham Potter's Chelsea to look like. At the moment, short-term results are not looking great, but I think the hierarchy at Chelsea believe the long-term is Graham Potter.